What's going on, you guys? AJ Tucker here with AJ Self Defense, and today I want to talk about a story of a pastor. Now, whenever I tell the story, like whenever I hop on these self defense stories, man, I always talk about how you can find a predator anywhere. All right, so I'm not just targeting churches or anything like that. As far as pastors go, man, you guys have some of the hardest jobs out there, some of the hardest working people, leaders of the community, all that good stuff. Now, in any profession, though, people can take advantage of their position. If you're like a pastor, if you're a doctor, if you're somebody in the lead, you shouldn't be, you shouldn't be, man, you shouldn't be doing that. Like, you shouldn't be messing with people that you're leading. All right, I'm a firm believer of that. But in this story, the pastor, he tried to pull a fast one, man. He goes up there and he talks about how he committed adultery and it was 20 years ago and he's sorry and this and that and this and that. And he made it sound just very vanilla. And the actual woman that he committed it with was there, and it was way more than adultery. I'm going to post a link to the video of this because I don't want to play the video of mine, but I'm going to post a link to the video, and it will definitely hurt your heart. The woman is very brave, and her husband is very brave for stepping up. But the woman came on and was like, you can't just call this adultery. Or the husband actually said that, but she was like, you can't just call this adultery. And she went on to tell the whole crowd that she was only 16 when he was messing with her. And so, some people are very charismatic. They're very controlling, and they can put themselves in this position. Like he basically, she talks about how he basically took her virginity on his office floor, and he had sex with her until she was in her 20s, all the way up until she started dating her husband, met the husband, and then it stopped. And so she's definitely been holding it in for years and years. And they've covered it up. They've covered it up. And in the video, she's talking about how he messed with a different girl and they either sent the girl away or he switched to a different church. I can't quite recall. But the reason why I hop on the video and put this story on, you go to a self-defense channel and a lot of times you look for moves, TikTok defense. You look for moves. Like if somebody grabs you, you do this, you do that, you do this. But most of these scenarios, especially when it comes to crimes against women and men, most of these scenarios, it's a lot of mental stuff. It's a lot of stuff that just happens, and it doesn't have anything to do with physically fighting somebody off. It's a situation where they have this control over you, and you're stuck in this situation, and it could be ongoing. It can go on for a day and you don't say anything, or it can go on for years, like this situation. It went on for years. The abuse went on for years, and then when it stopped, there was no consequence. There was no consequence for him. And so she hopped on stage, man, and just pretty much, she dropped a bomb on the whole church. And I think the thing that got to her is because he went up there and was like, hey, I committed adultery, asked for forgiveness and all that stuff. And they gave him a standing ovation for being so brave and stepping up. And they was like, nah. So the husband was like, this is not adultery. And then, I don't know if it was the pastor's son, but obviously someone who had a big stake in the church. And he was just questioning like, hey, well, why didn't you get counseling? And she was like, you guys, basically stopped me from getting counseling. The pastor got to talk to people. I had nobody to talk to. And she said that if I had been to counseling, your dad would be in jail, which is true. If she, if that's the thing that was sending her to suicidal thoughts and things of that nature, and they find out that he's messing with a 16-year-old, then yeah, he's going to be buried under the jail. Now, I'm going to be watching this case over the next couple of weeks, next few months, and see if there's even an investigation, to see if he does end up serving some jail time, because he definitely abused his position to the highest degree. It wasn't like he committed adultery with a 30-year-old or whatever. And that's not cool. But she was 16 years old. I can't even imagine. Like, one of the biggest groups that I work with as far as self-defense seminars are girls in that age range, juniors and seniors going into college, going off. And that's one of the most critical years, one of the years where I feel like they are the most vulnerable at that time. And so, again, we talk a lot about the mental game. We go over the physical stuff as well. We do simulated attacks and stuff like that. But the main thing I try to focus on is that mental aspect, that intimidation, that most attacks come from someone that you know, like, and trust. right? And you're bought into a church, and of course you're going to trust the pastor. And so whenever he flips the script on you, I feel like now in this day and age, I think kids are more informed than they were 20 years ago. They know when they've been wrong. Okay, I got like a random piece of trash sitting on my chair. I'm distracting myself. Anyway, kids, they know when they've been wrong, and I feel like they're more likely to say something. But at the same time, there's a lot of scenarios where they're not saying anything as well. But I think now they're more informed on what crossing the boundaries are, and so I don't know if it's better, but I continue to preach that. As far as when somebody's crossing the boundaries, you have to cut it off immediately. You have to cut it off rigorously. And this lady, she is at no fault. There's no fault. She was put in a situation that it's the worst case scenario where something was done to her and she had no support. Everybody was trying to cover up for the sake of the pastor and the sake of the church. But the thing is, you can't put everything into like a man. You can't put everything into one man, So, man, so if you are a young woman listening to this, the thing is, if this is on national news and it took her 20 years to say something, and this is on national news headlines and everything, the fact that this happened to her, there's probably a million people that this has happened to, men and women. Don't forget the men. There's men who's been abused, who's been raped at age 16 or sexually assaulted and all that stuff. So men and women, if you're in this scenario, man, you have to quickly tell somebody. Even if that person is powerful and you don't think you can win, there's more support out there than ever. You have to say something. Or if you're a parent, if you're a friend and you feel like something is off, then you look into it. Now I'm just speaking off the cuff. You should go online and look up ways to go about it. I know there's like particular ways they want you to go about it, but I'm just putting this video out there, man, just to put that awareness out there. This stuff is happening. Doesn't happen much. It's not happening like in every church. This is like less than 1% probably. I mean, some people may say, it's happening more than you know. Of course it is. I mean, that's why it's still happening, because we don't know about it. Because if we knew about it, we'd put a stop to it. I'm just saying, if somebody is in this situation, something has happened to you, and you're in the thick of this situation, you're probably hopping on your phone right now. You're probably hopping on Google and searching ways. You're probably getting on Reddit and saying, hey, this happened to me. What do I do? Go get professional help as quick as possible. Sometimes you might be in a situation where your own parents or your own circle won't believe you. Man, you just have to keep reaching out. If you try to bottle this stuff up, you try to go on about your business, it's going to be very hard for you to go about your business. So just keep that in mind, man. That's all I got for this one. I'm going to put a link in the description below as far as the actual video, the raw footage of it. It's on a Facebook Live, and it will absolutely stagger you. That's all I got for this one, man. I'll see you on the next one.